All right. Last session, you were given the straightforward and relatively easy task of protecting Elise de la Conge. Uh, you were hired by her father, not given too much information besides the knowledge that one of his ancestors had made a deal to give a firstborn daughter to them. And 4 or 5 generations later, Elise was the first daughter born to the family. You ended up researching just enough to find out this old man isn't any Earl, but he is the Earl King, which is a Fey king. We found that pretty cute poem, but a pretty evil old patriarch of the evil Fey Wild, who comes out and kidnaps young maidens and children. And at least in this case, he has not been completely savage and made a nice little deal with the family. In spite of your expertise, Elise de la Conge ended up stabbing herself in order to spare the town. And so we're going to kind of pick up at this endpoint. We had our gypsy bravely trying to lead away as many of these abortion evil spirits as possible from the town. Meanwhile, in the prison, which was the safe haven of the town, we had Arnold and Emmeline trying to guard the front door, which wasn't too successful given the fact that they were seconds away from being destroyed by a conglomeration of abortions. And inside of this most protected cell was Sarah, our young friend of Elise, Bo, the family bodyguard, and Elise. And so, like I said, in just a brief moment after Elise was stabbed, all the chaos going around quickly ended. And in a quick moment of silence, as all of you try to realize what happened and why the abortions have disappeared, very quickly, this silence is broken by the cries and wailing of mothers throughout the town. Elise was not the only one who died, and stray abortions had killed several families, destroyed several homes and businesses. And Sarah, your reaction was immediately to cradle Elise's dead body. Not that this would be any big realization you'd reach, but even the few seconds between the time that you ran over and grabbed the body, it's already ice cold in your hands as you're weeping on it. Bo, just being in a state of panic from trying to kill Elise, as quickly as possible, he opens up the cell door, and Arnold and Emily, as you stand there, kind of perplexed the situation, you see this door open and Bo quickly hurry out, and you see Sarah just cradling Elise on the ground. How will you react to this scene?
Is it obvious as he comes out that he's the one that we see her being cradled, but we don't know what kind of injury or anything like that, right?
It's pretty clear that
It's probably a lot of blood, right?
Yeah, well, he stabbed himself in the gut. It's kind of the Steve Irwin thing,
okay.
that the dagger hasn't been pulled out yet, and so the wound itself is being healed partially by the dagger. Bo kind of takes advantage of everyone else being in a panicked situation, so I'm not sure if the two of you would really put two and two together before he was able to escape.
I would rush over to Sarah and shout, "Sarah, What happened? Where? And I'll look around. I'm looking for the angel I summoned. Is it still here?
Unless you canceled the shaman, yeah, there is still this divine glowing presence in the room. And as Bo was leaving, some of this divine presence would be kind of on his face, since it was blinding him earlier.
Yeah, I look kind of accusingly at that angelic presence because apparently it didn't. Yeah, it wasn't of any use.
Even a dick to angels.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm not able to basically put the two together, I would probably just step in and to see exactly what had happened. And while Emmeline is looking over her, probably look back toward the guy. Was the guy's name Bo?
Yep.
I'd probably look back toward Bo to, and I'm assuming he's probably gone.
Yeah, he very quickly left.
So we're up on the second floor?
Yeah, more the basement.
Oh, okay. So I would probably pull my dagger and run to the stairs and see if I can catch him before he completely exits the house.
All right. Yeah, if you made it, one of your big quests, he was moving at pretty big speed, but you could catch him. Try to catch him before he leaves the prison.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. Roll dex for me.
Oops. So we're trying to get, was it under?
Yes. This is actually a challenge against chase dex. And it works a little bit differently, but.
Okay, my dex is 15. I got a 1.
Oh, nice. You're going to be able to quickly run through, and you'll be able to get outside this prison fortress and catch him kind of moving across the street while everything else around is chaos of people trying to find out what just happened. He seems like he's on a mission to get to one of these houses across the street.
So as I get it to him across the street, I'm gonna just kind of. Does he see me coming?
I don't think he's focused on anything behind. So I don't think he notices you.
Rush?
Well, no, nobody knows Rush.
And Arnold falls into a trap by trying to chase him.
Knocked unconscious.
Yeah. What about you, Sarah, as you're clutching this now cold corpse, even though it's only been dead a couple seconds?
Yeah, Sarah's never touched a dead person before, so she doesn't, notice if this is strange that the body's dead so quickly. And she does know to close her eyes, and she just takes out her little, just a little gold cross around her neck, and she's going to say some prayers. Yeah, suicide is obviously not something that is a good thing.
Emmeline, as your focus kind of goes from chastising this angel you summoned, you will look down and kind of notice Elise kind of laying in the grasp of Sarah, and inside of her stomach is this very strange dagger I described earlier. The hilt of it was like one of those desk toys that have the endothermic liquid in, so when you touch the glass, all of the fluid flows through different tubes and various pipes. Hopefully that rings a bell. But you'll see that this very strange, almost like alchemical glass is now empty in the hilt, and it's emptied into her body. Go ahead and roll a intelligence for me.
Had I seen that dagger before? That was it mentioned last time?
It was mentioned, but it was inside the shell while you were outside.
Okay, so I haven't seen it before.
No.
Okay. Int, right?
Correct.
No.
Nope.
No.
Yeah, it looks interesting to you because you know it's not just a ordinary dagger. But you'd have no clue what the significance of it is. Arnold, are you back? All right. Bella, how long do you think it would take you to notice that all of these strange fiend creatures are no longer following you?
Maybe about 10 minutes of running and then realizing there's nothing chasing. I'd be cautious. I would think they gave up versus they vanished. So I would slowly head back towards the walled town and be cautious as to, if I still hear screams of people dying, then I figure they just gave up versus they have vanished.
Yeah, as you'd make it closer to the small town, you'd realize that the sound is no longer the sound of war, but kind of the recompense that follows it. There's still people weeping and wailing, somewhat quieter than before, since at this point exhaustion and the lack of adrenaline has caused some people to more or less pass out. But even in the moonlight, you're going to see some of the damage that was very quickly done by these abortions. You'll see whole doors that were just knocked off the frame as they entered buildings. You'll see the majority of some of the walls just completely dismantled. And probably worst of all, you'll see a few dead bodies. A lot of them are just out in the field outside the fence where you were earlier. There we go. Nolt's back.
I would head back towards the prison, but I would actually check on some of the downed soldiers to see if they're okay or dead and pick their pockets while I'm at it.
All right. You'll see that their bodies were very quickly whitened. There is some bludgeoning looking damage and bruises, but it's almost like what killed them were the spirits sucking out the life.
Oh, so they weren't from injuries, but like their spirit somehow got sucked out of their bodies?
It's kind of like necrotic damage in the fact that you probably know some fiend-like creatures have the ability to kind of remove life force from your body, kind of vampirically. And so that's what happened. I mean, some of them probably did die from the beating. But,
yeah, but that's very disturbing.
Yeah.
But I would still pick their pockets while I'm at it.
Yeah. In the fortress, they left most of their belongings, just preparing to, just in case they die. However, you will find a couple coins on them. You'll find a couple valuable good luck charms they were carrying. Given their current state, you'll wonder how much luck's actually in them.
No, but that's okay. I could resell it.
Right.
So I'll do that for a couple of bodies and then head back towards the prison and see what happened there. I hope we succeeded, because if we didn't, we're in deep, deep doo-doo.
Yep.
Oh, well, you know.
Arnold, you were trying to catch up with Bo. His focus appears to be to cross the street and get into one of the buildings across the street.
Right.
However, you'd be able to kind of run up and catch him in the street if you wanted to.
Yes, and what I was saying before when I was crashing out was I seize him by his arm and tell him to I was like, hey, hold on there, and grab him by his arm and attempt to spin him around to face me.
Yeah, and he's going to kind of you'll catch him off guard and be able to kind of pull him a little bit, but he's just gonna look in your eye and try to push you off, saying, I have to check for my family.
So I'm gonna try and stay kind of close into his face, and I'm gonna tell him, I'm gonna ask him, I say, what happened back there? How did the girl get stabbed?
He'll say, just don't worry about it. It's part of the plan.
And I kind of narrow my eyes at him and I say, what plan?
He says, all of this, we thought we were ready. We hired the mercenaries. We hired you. We reinforced the walls. But the governor still had a lack of faith. So he came up with a alternative plan. And sadly, we had to use it. I'm sure that he will explain it to you tomorrow, but tonight is a night to grieve.
So I'm going to ask him flat out, did you kill that? Did you kill that girl? Did you stab her?
And completely truthfully, he's going to be able to tell you, I am the one who brought the dagger into the shell, but I'm not the one that killed her. She killed herself.
So I'll just kind of look at him and tell him, go and see to your family, but you had better not go far. Don't make me have to hunt you down if I need to speak to you again.
Yeah, you'll see that in this housing area that was on this side, a lot of doors were destroyed. However, his door appears to be pretty reinforced, as if he was preparing, knowing the applicable danger. And before too long, he's able to knock on the door, and it's going to be opened by a very scared woman wielding a kitchen knife. Okay. And he's just going to go and kind of hug. But
I'll just make note of it, and then I'll go back to the others.
Yeah, by the time that you're heading back to the others, the rest of the family has now moved into the hill, and the girl's mother, a few of her brothers, are now making their way. And when the mother sees Elise's dead body and Sarah cradling it, she's immediately grief-stricken, like any woman who's lost her daughter. She kind of yells and cries. One of her sons is having to support her as she sees the sight of her dead daughter, and kind of in the back of her mind, realizing that it was partially her who chose not to fear whatever curse was on the family. Sarah, since you're close enough to family, they probably would it have a huge problem with you being there and holding her, even though the rest of the family's closing in on you and trying to be with the body? Emmeline, this has turned into a pretty tragic area of mourning and grief, but would that change anything with you being there?
No, I would be just staring at what's going on because I just didn't expect that. I'm a powerful person, and that angel did absolutely nothing, and everything went kind of out of hand. So I'm just staring right now in disbelief, like shaking my head constantly.
Arnold, you would kind of enter back into this prison, and you'd see that the room's now filled with the family, and Emmeline's kind of off to a corner, not really offering any condolence, more just spectating in despair the family's reaction.
So being the profession that I am, I would probably pull out a small cross and just kind of do not really a last rites, but just kind of to myself, just do a Latin prayer over the body. Not making a spectacle of it or anything. And then I'll probably go. Is anybody else over there near Emmeline? Or is it just...
At this point, it's mainly a family affair.
Okay.
Maybe a couple of the servants here in the room kind of tending to the family and helping them. But
I'm going to just kind of say the prayer over her as a, just a courtesy more than anything. And then I'm going to go stand over there next to Emmeline until I can get, basically until I can get the ear of everybody who's, who's there that's not family. Obviously I can't tell them what I know right now in front of the family. So I guess I'll just go over there and try and be as comforting to Emmeline as possible. Is Bella back in yet?
He would be in the city.
Oh, okay.
Bella, you don't see any sign of the abortions anymore.
Not even at the prison, so everybody's left the prison too.
Well, as you work to the prison, you'll realize that a couple people are still wailing in the street, but it has quieted down a little bit. Kind of the soft, somber whimpers instead of the all-out wails. However, if you made your way into the prison, you would see that the cell where Elise was is now filled with a very saddened family and your 3 party mates.
Oh, that's not good. I would make sure there's some dirt on me and stuff, and I'm gonna sort of stumble into the prison because I did get hurt. I have a couple wounds, so I'll make sure that blood is very visible as I stumble back into the prison.
All right, and so Arnold, you probably realize this gypsy stumbling toward this back cell room.
You're muted.
I'm sorry. Run that. Can you run that last one by me again?
Now the gypsy has made its way toward the cell room. So
okay.
the 4 of you, the very close family, a few people who looked like aunts, And maybe a couple of very close family servants are in this pretty large hill.
Okay. Well, the reason I was asking about Bella is because he left while I was offline, so I didn't know exactly what he was doing. So I didn't know exactly who all was in the room.
Yeah, he just made his way back in the room.
Okay.
He just stumbled back in the room with dirt and blood all over him.
Okay, awesome. So I'll kind of motion him over toward where we are. And kind of confide in them, relay to them the story that, I caught up with Bo, stopped him. He kept speaking about a plan, this being part of a plan. That's something that the clan, apparently, that the governor had.
Are you telling me this girl died for a plan they had?
I say, shit, for God's sakes, woman, keep your voice down. What he told me is that he said there was some kind of a plan that he brought the dagger in, but that the girl stabbed herself, that he did not actually stab her. But he said that now was a time for mourning and that he had to see to his family. And the interesting part was most of the citizens, their doors were torn from the frames of their homes. But interestingly enough, his was fastly secured. So as they made their way through the town, I find it's convenient that they seem to have skipped right over his home.
Is the dagger still lying there? Sorry, go ahead.
Do you think he knows something? Knows something that he didn't tell other people? Or he cut a deal?
I think he is a part of something much bigger.
To jump in, basically, his door does look like it had more defense. It's not quite a pass over situation, but
a more sturdy door.
Yeah, he had better security.
So he looked like he. Okay, so then I would just change that to, he appeared to have known this was coming, because his door was reinforced and prepared more so than anyone else, which is kind of an odd thing to do.
That seems to be a very villainous move. If I used a more modern language, it'd be like, that's a dick move.
I would agree.
Yeah, but that goes in line with some things you realized about the Baron or the governor having added.
Sorry.
The more you know. Having added all of the security or hiring all these people and not quite telling the city why, building this prison. And so it goes along with him not telling the people about the danger, but Bo, being in charge of security, would be aware.
So, do you trust this town mayor? Because if he doesn't tell, it doesn't even help his own people, he may blame us for the death of his daughter.
I think this turns into a little bit of an alignment moment, even though alignment is in the game. But how much do morals come into your job? Is it just about getting this paycheck, or is it too much question? Which is nothing to find out right now. But
Bella's worried for his own skin, because he's now worried they're going to blame us for the death of the daughter and then punish us as an example, even though it's a big fat lie.
Yeah, same here. I'm looking to the family and back to the group, and I look really, really, yeah, I'm scared.
You'll realize that the father is not there mourning with the rest of his family.
What about the dagger? Is it still in her belly, or
It's still in there. This might be my lack of medical knowledge, but removing it would probably cause, additional blood loss.
Yeah, but she's already dead, right?
yeah?
I know, but just trying to keep it clean during the time of mourning.
Mm.
It's a French tradition I just came up with. I mean, if you want to take it out, then
Yeah, no, I don't want to interfere with the family now,
yeah.
but I look to the others and I kind of nod to the dagger. I have to get this one.
If it makes you feel any better, you are correct.
I feel like I failed before I was questioned, at least. But I mean, if you want to find a way to remove a dagger from a body being mourned by a lot of family members, then I'm more than welcome to create that situation.
I'm just thinking we'd do it later because before burial, they have to remove the knife anyway. But
yeah,
maybe we can volunteer to move her body somewhere better than the prison, and then while we do that, we can take the knife out. And then
yeah. Maybe I whisper to the others, maybe to get rid of the family, we can tell them we have to check the body. It's not over yet. And we all know that.
but she's really dead, right? Are you sure she's dead?
Oh, she's quite dead. If you allow me, I think I can get the dagger back.
But it seems like is there some weird chamber thing on that dagger? Like maybe they pumped her full of sleep potion or something.
I mean, from where you're at, all of you can make a pretty easy medicine check.
Is she turning colors? Yeah, I don't think I have medicine, so.
Yeah, I think it'd just be intelligence.
Yeah, it's
no, I have no clue.
Oh, intelligence on die 20? Okay.
Yeah, roll under your modifier.
I have to dig out a die 20.
I mean, technically there is a trained skill called medicine, but I think that's more with diagnosing alive people, not dead people.
I made it, so I can tell she's dead.
Hypothetically, if you before have worked with any type of powder that might put people to sleep, or kind of slower poisons, she looks pretty dead. Just the wound itself looks like it could have caused death, and so it looks like, at least from what the daughter Elise did, that she was in fact trying to kill herself, and the family is reacting as if she's dead. So if there is some type of ploy here, none of the family members or servants knew about it.
Well, can we tell the family we'd like to move her body somewhere appropriate for her than to be in this prison cell? And we would be glad to do that for the family.
Yeah, I'll give you a couple minutes to, well, maybe a moment to find out your request. How you'd handle that, because Sarah, would you have done anything as the family entered the room? And now are kind of surrounding you and Elise?
I mean, for sure. Like as I said, I'm holding her and praying, and I'm not gonna let her go unless they make me. So that's basically at this point. I've got her in my arms.
Yeah, I don't think that they're gonna really try to pull her from you. A servant might try to come and kind of tap you and let you know that you can let go. But
yeah, but no. I mean, I say I need to be with her. She can't be alone in this terrible place.
Yeah, and in fact, in spite of you being surrounded by her family, they're okay with you.
There are too many. We have to keep fighting.
All right. So have the rest of you found out how you're going to try to ask this family to allow you to move the body?
Well, I just typed up there. I can basically present myself as an agent of the church, which is not a lie, and just tell them that we need to move her to a family chapel or someplace like that, and
We
and
just
kind of,
tell them that we make her presentable, because that's not, yeah. She's not in a nice state.
And tell them that we need we would like to have the dagger for investigative purposes.
Actually, you want to really talk about the dagger? Just say we'll take her somewhere and they'll take the dagger out and then it sort of disappears, right?
Well, we can do that way too. But if they ask about it, we can just say, well, we'd like to have it for that. But yeah, I can do that if you guys, we can try that route.
Because my character's social status is a little bit low, so I don't think I don't have the push for that.
Well, my social status isn't real high either, but I at least can say that I am an agent of the church, not a priest. So I would.
Because I think Emmeline has a higher social status. So
yeah.
So maybe Emmeline could present it that way.
Emily, are you?
Oh boy.
Do you have an excuse why your high class would make you an expert in dealing with bodies?
No, but she can order people around, say, move her body, blah blah blah, and then.
Well, most of this family would outrank her in class.
Oh, that's true.
Well, like I said, I mean, I'll do it. I'll try it.
Yeah, give it a try.
Because I'm too low class to push them around. I'm in danger territory there.
So I would approach her mother, whom I'm assuming is still rather distraught, and I just kind of walk up to her and bow, give her a courteous bow, and tell her that say, Mademoiselle, I am Arnaud Chevillard. I am an agent of the Catholic Church. And I am very for your loss and for what has happened here. And if you would, we would like to help by moving your daughter to a family chapel or someplace far more appropriate than where she is right now, so that she can be in a proper Christian way.
Yeah, he'll kind of look at you, but you can tell between the poor lighting in this area now and her tear-filled eyes, she definitely isn't getting a great look at you. And she will say, we will arrange something to have her moved, but please allow us to have a few more moments with her right now.
Oh, by all means. I did not. It was not my intention to hurry you. When you are ready, you just simply let me know, and we will assist you when you are ready.
And after a few more minutes, Bo will make his way back down to the family now that he's checked on his own. And you'll see him spend some time, personally showing his condolences to each family member. And in spite of him being in charge of this security, you can tell that no one in the family is looking at him angry at all. And so after spending some time with the family, he'll make his way to the three of you and let you know that tomorrow at 11 o'clock, the Baron would like to meet with you.
I ask him, is he planning to be present?
Is Bo planning to be present?
Yes.
Of course I will be there.
Good.
Did Bo come over to me?
Um,
I would definitely say something to him if he did.
yeah.
Yeah, if Bo came to me, I would basically say, "This is your fault. You know that. You were supposed to protect her."
And there'll be a little bit of gasping and even some people quietly trying to scold you for throwing blame at this time. But Bo will just kind of take it and nod and move on and greet the rest of the family. So at this point, the three, Arnold, Bella, and Emmeline, somehow through this dark night, you find yourself being free to be dismissed and return back to try to salvage whatever sleep you'll be able to get after this situation. By no means do you have to leave, but I think the family will be down here for a while, to the point that Sarah, you will probably eventually pass out, still holding Elise in your arms. But would the other three of you just be okay with heading back and waiting to 11, or is there anything else you'd like to do?
No, I'm done for tonight. This is terrible.
Yeah, Bella's done. He wants to clean up a little and bandage his wounds. And he also wants to talk to these other two later, or even talk on the way back towards our rooms.
The only thing I would do is as we left, I would walk by near where Bo's house was, and I would look and see how many other houses. Just if I happen to notice anybody else that had their door reinforced the way that he did, or like, was this just literally a one-off thing, or were there a couple of other people spread through the town that had in the immediate area that had their doors reinforced also? Just trying to basically weed out whether or not this is something that very specifically deliberate, or was it just some people that had super heavy oak doors or whatever.
This area being near the prison typically would be the bad part of town, but since this was built more as, for the alternative reasons, it was actually built in one of the better parts of town. So these houses are not all extravagant, but you'll realize that many of them do have more ornate doors. Bo's door is more plain, but you can tell that he traded security for elegance. I am going to say that there might be a couple other houses that appear to have better doors. Other people who work closely with the Baron and would be aware of this threat. So there might be a couple other houses. And some houses were just completely passed over. This attack happened so quickly that not every house was seized or knocked down. But you do see that Bo's and maybe one or two other houses, just the strong bolts and frame of them were able to hold down being hit by these abortions. So
there's still a lot of variables in play then.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there might be one or two other houses that do have this stronger material.
Okay.
I will describe to my compatriots the necrotic effect of those creatures, because I think they would want to know about that before we head back.
Yeah, and if you checked your own wounds, where this is going to hit you and touch you, at first it feels like a bruise. Like the reason why your arm was a little bit numb was you just hit in a bad place. But as you kind of inspect your own arm, you'll see that it does appear a little bit more pale. Not something that's irreversible by any means, but just kind of this numb, even cold feeling might be from more than just the hard hit you took.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'll tell them that so they would know what to prepare for if we run to these again, if we can prepare for it at all.
I'll look at Arnaud and whisper, "Have you ever heard of such creatures?"
Well, I've heard of many of the denizens. I don't know that I have run across these personally. I would have to maybe spend a little time looking through my book to see if anything makes mention.
I suggest you do so.
I plan on it.
Yeah, and just to go ahead and jump through that, you would know that some of these ghosts or wraith-like creatures carry the essence of death itself. So, when they do attack, it's possible for their attacks to kind of spread this death. It's not so much them sapping out life as much as them overwhelming you with this death essence they carry themselves. But it's mainly just ghost and fiend-like creatures that it's kind of hard because typically people who come in to encounter these creatures, if they do hit, they die. But a couple of the survivors have realized that while they're not dead, where they were hit does appear to carry some of the signs of death.
Okay.
All right. If there's nothing else, the next morning, Sarah, you would find yourself waking up in your own bed.
Okay. So of course I'm exhausted from the probably not sleeping very well, and I would immediately think about where they might have moved the body, and I would head for that in that direction. Possibly, I guess if it's a chapel or a morgue, not a morgue, but a tomb.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I would go.
Yeah. As you quickly get dressed and leave the house, you will realize that there is some pretty loud noise outside. For one thing, even though you're kind of creeping through some back ways, you would see enough to realize that a pretty bad attack did happen. But there is a mob kind of around the Baron's family estate. And the Baron is trying to get these kind of caravans of help and material and food to some of the cities that were hurt worse. But right before your eyes, you see the mob block this caravan, and you see them beginning to jump on it and rip stuff out, and just to show their distaste for the Baron, blaming this attack on him. Not only do guards have to stand around his gate to make sure no one's sneaking in, but they're not even allowing these caravans that are trying to help the hurt parties out.
Okay. So I'm good. Yeah. I'm going to look for somebody in the crowd that like I would know who they are, even if I don't know them personally. You know, like an older person, probably somebody that might be influential on some level. And I'm going to go to them to try to get them to stop.
You'll see that a lot of the younger people are front in the gate doing this riotous behavior. There are some older people who are more in the background, still yelling and angry, but by no means are by the first line of where this, most of these attacks are. So more just looking on with contempt.
Can I tell kind of who, usually there's at least some person instigating, like as a main influence. And if I can figure out who that is, I'm going to try to go to that person.
You would see that a lot of the people who are riding, a couple dozen people were killed.
Mm-hmm.
So mainly family members of these dead people were kind of the ones to start the riot, but now everyone's just all out angry. The fact that he spent all this money, quote unquote, to protect, and yet they're beginning to get this vibe that he knew something or he caused this attack. So it's about 40 or 50 people who are outside this gate.
Well, I'm going to try to go to the front of where the crowd is, like where they're starting to pull stuff off, and see if I can get myself in a position where I can like shout at the people, because I want to try to tell them to stop and say I'm going to. I probably still look pretty. Didn't sleep that well, and the tears are swollen my eyes, and I probably still maybe have blood still on the clothes I was wearing. And I'm going to come forward to the front, and I'm going to say, I know that you have lost people, and if I recognize anybody who I know, like I'll call them by name, and I'll say, but the Baron has too, and so have I. And we're all suffering from this, and fighting amongst ourselves is not going to help anything. Some people need help, and you're preventing these soldiers from helping. All you're doing is harming more people. And I'm going to try to get them to stop.
Yeah, you can make a charisma. This is going to be probably a +2 since this environment is even.
Okay, I will roll charisma +2.
All right. Yeah.
Plus 2 to the die, yeah. So I rolled a 5, which make it 7, and my charisma is 15. So that should be good.
Nice. So you're speaking up, and you see that people are stopping and listening. However, with you being a child, and people not having faith that you really feel the despair because they've lost children, very quickly their anger is going to be. Well, the good thing is you stop them from being so angry at the Baron, but now their anger has kind of moved to you.
Right.
And very quickly, when the guard's going to snatch you up and move you inside, having recognized you for being a close family friend. But yeah, you've basically are now shared in the anger of this family, which a good role, but I feel like trying to stop a riot as a 12-year-old.
Well, I am still a child, just as my
Yeah.
Okay, so seeing that didn't work that well, and now that I'm inside, I'm going to immediately go to who I know will be able to handle it, my best friend, Emilian. And I'm going to go wake her up.
What could possibly go wrong?
I'm going to quickly head in the direction of Emilian.
Oh boy!
All right.
And I'm going to run right up to the cottage that she's in as quickly as I can, and I'm just going to burst in without knocking or anything.
Yeah, I'm probably in my underwear, and I'm trying to get into my corset and such without servants. This friggin' village. Yeah, I'll look at you. What?
Yes. So I bust in and I say, Lady Emilian, there's a riot in the front. We need you to help the people.
Well, we will have another riot when I won't get into this corset soon. Come over here.
Okay.
Try to direct you how to get me into this, and I say, have you seen the governor?
No. No. I haven't seen anybody.
Where would he usually be now?
Maybe at breakfast.
Well, we will have to visit him, or maybe we will have to go to our Monsieur. What's your last
Chevillard.
name? Chevillard. Monsieur Chevillard. We have to discuss something, and maybe this gypsy too. Yes. Are you finished?
Yes, I think so. And I pull it like probably extra tight. And I say,
yes, that will suffice.
But first the riot though, because the people are going to get hurt and they need stuff, food, and for the families.
Oh, the riot, yes, but why do you turn to me, child?
Well, you are the most sophisticated and beautiful lady I know.
Of course. Well, let's see what can be done. And she raises her chin and her nose, of course, and walks a little bit stiffly into the direction of the riot. How many people are there?
There's about 50 people rioting, which for a town of a few hundred is pretty significant.
Oh, great. So is there some kind of crate or something?
Crate?
Yeah, to step on.
Yeah, I mean, this caravan was kind of flipped over, so there's broken crates and
yeah,
that you can stand on.
I climb up there.
Literally getting
difficulty.
on her soapbox.
Pardon?
Yeah.
I said literally getting on her soapbox.
Yeah. And I take a deep breath, and then I shout, "Good people, shut up!" And I have an asset called intimidating.
Nice. Is your perversity 12 or less?
It is 12.
Oh, then you get a +1 on all checks when I'm near you.
Ooh.
Except checks to hurt me.
Good to know.
Don't think about it.
Just to carry this through, Bella and Arnold, if you would like to be spectating this, just in case this turns into a 50-1 fight, I'll allow you to be in the area also.
So I've got, hold on. Let me check.
I find this amusing. So Bella would probably be somewhere where there's a window and sitting on the window and looking down on all this stuff going on.
I need my book. Do they react in any way?
It would take you a couple times yelling because they're also, you know.
No, I don't yell a couple of times. I yell. Oops. I yell once, and if that doesn't work.
Well, with your intimidation, check that might work. As you climb up, you realize that these people are riotous, you know, acting like savages in your mind, trying to push up against guards and shake the gates and yelling profanities in the direction of the house of the mourning family.
I can, while she's on the soapbox, I can. So here's where the creepy presence with the weirdly, oddly blue eye thing comes into play. I can like stand in front of the box that she's standing on top of, so she's like over top of me, like standing above me, and just give the crowd like a really menacing stare. And if they don't listen, then I can like shoot my pistol in the air to try and get everybody's attention to shut up.
You don't get that far.
Okay.
Because do I see there's probably some kind of how's that called? Like a boss running around there, riling the people up. You know, one of those shitbags in the front.
Yeah, yeah.
Like a little group in that group, which is kind of.
Yeah, you can tell they are some instigators.
Yeah, yes, thank you.
One of them is a younger woman who appears to have been weeping over losing her child.
Yeah, okay, so I target...
People kind of rioting around her. Like, not everyone had great loss, and so they're kind of rioting around some people who did.
Mm. So I look around just for a few seconds, and then I target her with my glance, and I start whispering under my breath, like it sounds to you, Arno, like a demonic prayer or something, if you listen closely.
Oh, nice. I forgot you were all extra creepy.
Yes. And I cast Mass Sleep. And I can, for every level, I can affect one being. So I would target those instigators. Those who are the most annoying.
So, all right. I was going to throw out a word of warning, but... but nope. I'm not going to give you... Okay, so yeah, go ahead and... how does that spell work? Is it any type of save?
No, it just I think it's like all the OSR games, you know, it just does. Although the beings must not exceed my own. The dice must not exceed my own. Sorry.
I mean, these are
levels.
Yeah, they're probably
these are rioting commoners, so
yeah,
it would be easy for you to use this spell.
Yeah, and I'm not like standing there and waving my arms, and I don't shout like Necronomicon around or something like that. I really try to do that under my breath.
All right. So you're gonna speak these words, and what's the reaction to these people? What does it look like when they pass out? Are they in the middle yelling and then like faint, or? Yeah,
probably the first here, the woman you described is probably just throwing a tomato or something, and like in mid throw, she just does like a and collapses in the middle of the crowd, and as 4 of the other main instigators look back at her a little bit confused, they drop as well. And my hope is that the crowd is so stunned that they just shut up for a moment.
Make a perversity check for me.
Okay. I rolled under. Was that good?
No, you'll find out. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, having these people pass out, you'll see like silence beginning to fade in like a wave as people begin becoming aware that something has happened to some people. So you will get the moment of silence that you wanted.
Perfect. So I immediately smile and I speak in a very loud voice. Splendid! Well, dear peasants, if you don't mind listening to me for just a second, this isn't helping. If you might have noticed that the governor's daughter yesterday stabbed herself. This by itself is already very disturbing. But you know what's even more disturbing? That you're standing here in front of me, if I may say so, at my feet, and are trying to hinder people doing good. And isn't that what we all want? And it kind of
She's a witch! She's a witch!
Don't you
I saw her trying to
dare!
use the spell to kill those people!
I'll look accusingly at Arnaud. Like, why the hell aren't you doing anything?
Is there a chance?
She cast a spell! Yeah, you cast a spell on people who have mourned losing people to a spiritual presence. So once again, you
have. What?
Is there a chance that I might have fainted when she cast a spell?
I don't.
Is that a fainting thing?
Did you look at me?
Well, I'm standing right next to you.
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, depending on how afraid you are of magic, that's your call.
Well, she probably heard her using that.
Yeah, the
demonic
talk.
Demonic, yeah.
I rolled and actually I did faint. So when you cast a spell, I actually fainted. Yeah. So,
yeah, and then he'll point. Yeah, he'll point at you, who's on the ground, saying. But now all of these people are now angered at your witchcraft.
Oh, fantastic.
And you are now elevated on display.
Oh, hold on. Yeah.
Make a dexterity check.
Oh, man. Where's my die? Oh, God. Dex. Yes.
Yes. All right. A tomato's gonna fly right beside you. Thank you for bringing produce into this picture. And people are going to begin kind of surrounding you very angrily. This town isn't big into any type of witchcraft, much less the day after they've lost a lot of people to a strange spiritual presence.
Okay.
So Arnaud, you'd be aware of these people kind of surrounding you and closing in. Now it's not so much, kill the bear, and it's more kill the witch.
Okay. So what I'll do is I'll pull out my rosary with cross and just hold it up in front of everybody, and I'm going to pull my pistol out and just shoot it up in the air and tell everybody to stand back and calm down in the name of the church.
Yeah, I'm going to say that the pistol is going to have more effect than the rosary.
I'm going to do both anyway.
Yeah.
But isn't your pistol like a one-shot musket, and you have to reload for like 2 rounds or 4 rounds?
I've got daggers all over the place.
It's gonna be hard to reload with that rosary.
I'm just gonna have to stab people if I have to.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it's not gonna come to that.
You're gonna shoot this pistol just straight up in the air, which is probably closer to the elevated Emmeline than she would like. But the people are going to kind of quiet down when you do shoot the pistol. There is some anger, but this is going to give a couple of the guards a chance to push the crowd and kind of whispering, are you trying to get us all killed? And quickly pull you into the fortified gate. One person is carrying the... How many rounds were you fainted for?
2.
2? Yeah, so you're going to kind of awaken as you're picked up by a guard who tries to carry you toward the gate.
Do I have a feeling that, well, that didn't really work, right? What Arnaud was doing.
Well, I was trying to quiet them down for you to be able to talk.
I'm just asking.
I know,
And
but the guards had other ideas.
so if that, as I realized that, to kind of help his rosary.
You're helping the rosary with a demonic pact you have?
Yeah, no.
Stop helping.
So
Now, I only have a master's in theology, but
that friggin' angel owes me. So I will try to summon him again, just to.
Yeah, let me. This crowd is going to come back into play in a bit.
Oh shit!
So I'll let you save Plan B, for a bit.
Okay.
Bella, sadly for you, when the guards come, some of the show is going to be over.
That was entertaining enough.
Yeah. How are you going to make your way through the gate?
Actually, I may stay outside a little bit and watch the show and work on some of the people that were out there.
So you're in this riotous crowd, pickpocketing?
No, I'm actually just hanging out there and listening to people and being sympathetic to their concerns and sort of meld in with the crowd a little.
And then, picking the pockets.
Well, not quite. And then I would talk to them and find out I would actually check on the people that were asleep and see if they're okay. And I would realize they're asleep and not dead, right?
Yeah.
And I go,
how long does the sleep spell last?
Until dawn.
Really?
Yeah, no shit.
Nice.
Wow, it's first thing in the morning.
So
kind of powerful.
Yeah, so Bella would pick up the woman, like not lift her up, but pick her back up off the floor, right? And sort of cradle her head off from the concrete or the dirt. Say, oh no, the lady, she is alive. She's just asleep. They've all fallen asleep or fainted.
Yeah, I think it is clear to the people close by that these people aren't dead. And even you can tell the difference between these people who were magically, comatose.
Yeah.
And Elise in her current state.
I would shout that out to start getting the wave of news to go through the rest of the crowd that they're not stricken down dead, right? Because that's the reason why they're hostile.
I mean, they were hostile to begin with toward the Baron. Now, these types of situations do bring out the worst of people, which I think includes social discrimination.
Yeah.
And you being a gypsy, and I don't think you're doing anything to cover the fact that you're a gypsy.
No.
A couple people in the crowd, a very small minority, would call out and accuse you of being the reason why the evil came. Right now, they're just trying to come up with whatever excuses they can.
Yeah, I would say I would counter them and say, oh, the Baron asked me to help. I put up those symbols of protection upon your walls. Look at these wounds. These wounds are from last night. I was attacked last night.
Mentioning the Baron against the crowd that's hostile against the Baron is much worse than being a gypsy in this case.
Oh, that's good. That's the first time I've been discriminated for being somebody's friend versus gypsy.
Yeah. But you realize that when you mentioned helping the Baron, and they're blaming the Baron for causing all this, so your signs attracted the evil as far as they're concerned. And so you kind of get pulled away from this passed out lady you were cradling. Her head just hitting the ground as you're pulled away from her neck, and you're kind of getting pinned to the gate, and guards are trying to make their way to you.
Yeah,
but for a couple of moments.
I'll punch out whoever's pushing me against the gate.
Nice. Yeah, go ahead and let's see if your attack rolls are any better than they were.
Yeah. I forgot what we used for the attack rolls again, but
I think it's just roll under dex.
Oh, okay.
For your armed attacks.
I rolled a 16. That probably misses, but I get 2 attacks of the boxing. So
right.
And is there a bonus? I forgot if there was a bonus.
I think you have.
Let
me look at
one from Sarah. Oh, she's not here anymore.
She's not here anymore. You have +1 when you do box.
Okay. So I missed the first shot and missed by 1 on the second attack.
Yeah, so they've got you pinned pretty closely, and now that you're throwing blows at them, I'm going to say that a guy's going to throw a punch at you. The commoners aren't typically very strong, but when you roll a 1, which happens, but since they're not trained in boxing like you, you're going to take just 1 damage right to the chin as a guy tries to just hit you and get you to stop attacking.
Yeah, I tell him not to hit me again, or I will throw a gypsy curse upon him and his whole family.
I think that's a pretty good threat. So, oh man, would I consider that a witty repartee? No, because if it was a witty repart, then that would be intelligence. Just roll charisma. More of a yeah. I feel like that's better for you.
Oh, I rolled an 18. I failed.
Yeah.
I need another die 20. This die 20 sucks.
You're gonna be hit 1 more in the face before you can get that out. For a damage, 1 more damage, and the guards are going to kind of pull you free. Some of your you have 1 more attack, I guess, but
do I get another attack or?
Yeah, you get 2 per turn. So if you want.
Oh, can I think I do have a curse, but I don't know if it applies. Let me look at it.
You do have a curse, but I'd save that for someone who's more threatening than.
I know. I think that was just an idle threat, so I would just spit on him.
All right. So you're gonna get hit 1 more time in the mouth. Once again, you've taken worse punches through your bare knuckle boxing, but you're gonna get a nice bloody spit on him before guards come and like rip him out of your hands. Your beautiful colored garb's gonna get ripped a little bit, but you're gonna be pulled inside the gate and kind of moved inside the Baron's house with your ripped cloak and a couple of good bruises to your face. And so not long after, well, I guess a little bit of time after the first 3 of you get in, you'll notice that there is a parlor type area that does appear to have some candles lit and religious sites. And you will see Elise laying on kind of a raised platform. The dagger has been removed and the clothes have been changed. And there are a couple of family members and servants sitting down praying and looking at the body. So Arnold, Emmeline, or Sarah, the 3 of you will be kind of there with guards, and then a few minutes later, the door will open and Bella will kind of be pulled in, and you'll notice his clothes are slightly ripped and he has some blood coming out of his mouth. So,
when I see the body, I'm actually going to leave if I can. I want to go to the garden and get flowers.
Yeah.
I think I would run out.
All right.
I'm kind of sad, and I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna run out and get flowers and then I will come back.
Great, yeah. And you can tell that guards are trying to keep you in for your safety.
Yeah.
But you're able to kind of escape when they're not paying too much attention to you.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna like go crazy, but I just feel like I wouldn't just leave the body there. So I first of all, I'm shocked to see it again. So I think I need a minute. So I'm gonna run outside to the garden, especially knowing that she didn't get to enjoy that as much as I did, and I'm gonna get a couple of flowers, and I'll come back with them.
All right. Arnold and Emmeline and now Bella, who got thrown in. Anything the three of you would like to do?
Well, the first thing I'll do is kind of, as they drag Bella in, I'll just kind of pat him on the back and shoulder and look him over real fast and be like, "Are you okay, my friend?"
Those stupid, dirty peasants. And I straighten out my cloak and see the damage, and I pull out a piece of thread and needle, and I start patching up my torn cloak.
I'll look over at Emmeline and say, "I cannot imagine why they would be so upset."
I take out my little powder thing and powder my nose. Yeah, I don't understand either.
You guys are aware that they lost family members and businesses.
Oh, yeah. We were honestly trying to keep them from hurting themselves, though. I mean,
we lost our job.
Golly.
So relatable. They actually had good intentions.
Yeah. I mean, they can always make more kids, but that was a good job.
Yeah. See?
So the three of you do see the parlor in one area where Elise is laying. Like I said, she's been changed into more burial garments, and the dagger has been removed. If you would like to pay any more respect at this point, you can. If you like to do something else, you can.
Is the dagger in the room?
It is not.
So who's tending over the body?
Well, this is inside the estate, and so there are a couple of servants who are kind of in and out of the room, and family members who are kind of sitting in chairs and mourning. But since this is in kind of like a private space, it's not being overly watched for or cared for. Since anyone in here should be paying their respects.
So I want to walk over to whatever servant appears to be in charge.
Yep.
And ask them, pardon me, the dagger that was stuck in the young woman. Where did it go?
Okay, I don't know. The body had already been prepared for burial before they brought it here.
Shit. We should have snatched it out of her while we were right there. Do you know who prepared the body?
The family.
I guess we will have to speak with them again.
I would like to speak with a representative of the family. The church would like to have the dagger, at least temporarily, for investigative purposes.
And a door a little bit down the hallway will open, and this will be where you remember being yesterday in the study or a couple days ago. in the study of the Baron, and even though it's a little bit before your appointment, he will come out and have the three of you accompany him. Sarah, during this point, you could make your way back in with flowers.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I would go to the body. I feel like at this point, I wouldn't want to stay too long, because now it's like a different stage of shock. So I would bring flowers to her and put it, and then I would look for my mentor, Emmeline.
Yeah, and you'd see her making her way toward the Baron's office. The door will probably be shut before you get there, but you'll be able to get there quickly enough.
Yeah, I'll just open it and walk in if it's shut.
Yeah, and like all the attention will be drawn to you as you wander and have a seat, and trying to make a very ill-made joke. The Baron, who you can tell is already sleepless and definitely at least partially intoxicated. Okay, it looks like you can deal with the mob just about as well as you deal with the evil spirits. And he'll kind of chuckle to himself and take a sip of this darkly colored liquid. And he'll continue. I knew you wouldn't be able to do it. I knew nothing we could do could ever prepare for it. And you'll see him look down, and you'll see that the dagger is on his desk.
So I just kind of look at him and say, well, it is it's a little difficult to deal with situations like this when it seems like they're getting help from those closest to you. The dagger, the dagger that was used to kill the child was brought in by another who promptly left as soon as it happened. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, he'll pick up this dagger and then kind of pound it tip first into the desk. And he will say, this was your last chance. This was purchased by my family over a century ago. And a while ago, there was a strange medicine lady who lived a few days into the forest. Her name is Teresa, and she was bringing these devices. It gives the ability for people to fake death so significantly that even spirits won't be able to know that he is still alive. I do not quite know her condition, but somewhere inside that seemingly dead corpse is still my daughter. The toxin inside is strong. However, it is so old and probably well past its expiration. And worst of all, I don't have the antidote. Teresa only sold my family this toxin. It was up to us to be able to visit her if it was ever used. A good business model, but she's surely dead by now.
So this is the plan that Bo spoke of?
Yes, I wouldn't call it a plan, more as a last-ditch hope to keep her alive.
I see.
The good news is the Earl King should now be sure that he is dead and will not be able to censure life as long as she's in this condition.
So let me be clear that I have all of this straight. So you come into this room and you tell us that you mock us for not being able to control the crowd any better than we can these evil spirits. Yet you had a dagger placed in the room with this woman. You did not tell us with this plan. You did not tell us about this dagger or its toxins or its effects. You had it set up so that she would seemingly stab herself again without bothering to tell the people who were supposed to be protecting her. And then when it goes south, somehow it is our fault for not being able to protect her from the evil spirits. I just want to make sure that I have all of this correct.
Huh.
He will say, that is not all correct. Bo was supposed to kill her. However, something stopped him from doing so. Elise knew nothing about this dagger. She killed herself, believing it was a true sacrifice. And
does it matter who used the dagger? Or was it supposed to work the same way regardless? Or...
the fluid drained, and I'm hoping it works correctly. I believe Bo would have chose a less gruesome entry point, but from what we have, I believe he's in good condition. But this toxin is past expiration, and I believe that it's not working correctly. According to reports, your body was cold almost immediately, and while we were preparing the body, it was already beginning to smell of decay. Now, this is supposed to be just illusionary, but it appears that the expiration is causing a strange catalyst between life and death. I do not blame you for not being able to save her.
I think you should blame Bo, who was disarmed by the mighty strength of a young peasant girl.
That is not the story he told me, but...
Well, if he had the dagger, yet she took it and stabbed herself, then... I mean, I don't know for sure. Me and this lovely woman to my right here, we're all standing outside the door facing down these evil spirits on what we thought was going to be our last stand to save your daughter. So I wasn't actually present in the room. I was actually doing my job that I was hired for.
He will say, the mission has changed. The only way to ensure that Elise is safe is to travel in, and even though Teresa is dead, to hope he has a family member who has the antidote to this toxin. Now, in a couple of days, we will have a funeral processional for Elise, and my family will leave quickly after. I have plans to take Elise out to a desert area in the Holy Lands, far from any forest, where my family can live and she can be safe. I simply need you to just receive the antidote, and I will meet you in a couple of days, and my whole family will move. The majority of my guards will have to stay and protect the house from this riot. However, I can have a few of my best mercenaries accompany you into the forest. I will give you the gold that was the prize. All you need to do is make sure that she safely arrives and that she can get this antidote. Like I said, the Earl King should not be a problem anymore. By the time...
So I stand up and say, Emmeline will do it. And I will be her aid.
So Bella goes, do you have any idea what this antidote looks like? How do we know we have the right antidote?
He says, I do not know, but if you travel a couple days into the forest and find whatever child Teresa has, she can surely make it. And you'll see him open up this safe of costly jewels that equal about 20,000 in their currency. And he will say, this should cover the price, or at least was the price that my family heard about for the antidote. If you travel and pay her, it's my hope that we will not have to use the antidote to try to keep Elise under the cover of this magical death as long as possible. But in the case that this expiration is doing horrible things to her spirit, I need you to take her in case it needs to be used sooner. He says, only I, Bo, and a couple other selected men know that Elise is still alive. Not even my family is aware of her condition. We'll be able to treat everything as if she is dead, and we will have a funeral and a cortege for her in town. I just need you to leave under the cover of her death, and try to reach and buy this antidote.
So I will not speak for the others, for they are of their own free will. I will help with this, however, and I will accept the help of your mercenaries. But it is my opinion that Bo should remain either with you or here, for he seems to be better suited at guarding your chicken coops, perhaps. I do not relish walking into the forest with a liar and a deceiver.
He will say, Bo has not lied or deceived at all. He is the most trustworthy that I have. Well, if you can bring up one character flaw against him.
The biggest character flaw that I have right now is that he allowed a small girl to take his dagger and kill herself with it. And what possible good is he going to be in the forest if we have to face down hellish fiends and evil spirits?
He will say, well, then maybe you will have to protect both Elise and Bo. While he is trained in combat, I trust him, which holds much more value than even his talent with the sword.
All right, so I will say very well, if you insist. However, just you may see him as being trustworthy, but the fact that we were not told about any of this prior leaves me as feeling betrayed, and yes. I don't take that very lightly. So let's see that it doesn't happen again.
Yes, I never thought it would come to this, and I have learned by reading the great military books that if forces do not know about Plan B, then they'll stay fighting, even risking their lives for Plan A.
You deal with the denizens of hell and evil spirits. Military books.
talking about, Arno?
He'll kind of smirk again and say, as much as you could hear this deceit, it is the only thing that kept us all alive last night.
So I'm just gonna turn and just make my way over to the other side of the room.
So Bella goes,
Well,
I like this new job you have for us, but I did not get paid for the last job I just did. I don't think I want to do this job unless I got paid for what we've done already.
He will smile and say, after my family moves from this town, we will have no tie here. Since we are leaving, I will allow you to look around and take an item of value from this house if you wish. You will be paid in full, or if you wish to not accompany the body into the forest, I will pay you for the lackluster job, although admirable, that you performed earlier.
Oh, I was injured by these creatures. I see no other people being injured. I risked my life for this. Me and my monkey risked our lives for this. I will accompany this body, but this is questionable. I mean, if you bring the body into the forest and they revive her there, wouldn't the Earl King know that she is alive again?
He said, the goal is not to revive her until after we have left, but due to this potion being far past expiration, in case she needs to be revived sooner, I need you to take the body.
I see. Well, let me look through your house, see if I find something that is worth taking.
He says, for sure. However, as you have seen, I have tried to send a couple carts out in order to rebuild the city, but these rioters won't even let me help them.
You're a stupid peasant. You are right to leave this city.
Yes. The issue will be you will need to leave the city in a cart with my daughter in it. I'm hoping that you can find a more successful way to leave the city than you were able to when you arrived at my house.
I have heard of this sleep spell.
I'll look away.
It is magnificent.
I'm gonna go to Arnaud and say, Monsieur Arnaud, you should know that it could not have been easy for Beau, who has been with us since our childhood, to have raised a dagger against her. That in itself, while vile, is the family. So I trust Beau.
So
knowing this,
I'll kind of. What's your character's name again? I'm sorry.
Sarah.
Sarah.
So
I kind of pat Sarah on her back and say, "My child, I would have preferred if Beau was the one who had raised the dagger. That is not my problem. My problem is that he couldn't keep a hold of his own dagger. He allowed her to take it. And because she did not know what she was doing, she has hurt herself.
Well, it was not. No, there was a great spirit in the room that attacked Beau.
I see. I appreciate your speaking on his behalf, and I will.
Do you think
keep it in mind?
I could have a pistol?
I'm gonna kind of laugh. I say, That's probably not a good idea, but I will see if I can find you something. In the meantime, just stick with Emmeline. She will keep you
It could
safe.
be dangerous. It could be dangerous, and pistol could be useful for me.
To have. Yes. I will see what I can do.
Very
promise.
intense look in your direction.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow Bella because I want no parts of this conversation anymore.
Yeah. Bella's gonna look around for something valuable that's small.
So what I want to find typically in homes like this, they will have some sort of family sword like hanging on a wall or something above a mantle or something like that. So if I like walk out into the main room or something like that, do I see anything like that?
Yeah, you see, awkwardly enough, it's in like a room with a fireplace right next to the parlor where people are paying their respects. But you see a large sword on the wall near one of the family crest type symbols.
Is it a rapier or is it more of a, because of the time frame we're in, is it like a rapier sword, like the Three Musketeers type French swords, or is it like a larger, beefier, like typically like a long sword or style? Or?
Yeah, since it's a family sword and probably has gone back a while, it's going to be more of like a elegant, more of like a general type sword.
Okay, so I'm just going to walk up and snatch that thing right off the wall and stick it right in my belt, and I'm just going to look and say, "This will do."
All right.
That may not be worth that much, Arnaud.
It's not all about how much money you can get for it, my
I
friend.
would like to find a gold chamber pot to poop in, maybe.
Well, then you are more than welcome to do so. You have your use for your pot. I have a use for this.
Is there an item that anyone else would like?
Yeah, Bella really wants to look for a gold chamber pot or something.
You were serious?
Emily just can't believe what's going on here.
Yeah.
I'm getting paid.
Yeah, so the sword that you find, I'd say, is probably closer to a saber. Which, all weapons are about the same.
Okay.
But unless you preach for a sword cane.
Ooh. So I'm going to go to Emmeline, and I'm going to say,
"Oh, God."
Emmeline,
yes, please.
I have a plan.
I make a step back involuntarily. You have?
We need to get my friend out of here, and the townspeople are afraid of ghosts. What if we put sheets over our heads, and then we run through the gate like we're ghosts, and they'll scatter?
I'll look at you for a long second, then I pat your shoulder, and then I just walk away.
Okay, I begin to collect sheets.
Oh, God.
Yeah, Bella, you'll be able to find a pretty large gold chamber pot. Well, maybe not a large gold pot.
I will start.
I'm not sure if its purpose is for a chamber pot, but
I will disguise it with mud and stuff to make it look like a normal pottery.
I have a question. What time of year is it? Is it in here, in where we are?
I think we covered this. I think it was just past spring, because when the forest was coming back into bloom was when he was attacking.
Yeah, in 1765.
So no pumpkins readily available then.
Thankfully not.
Oh, man. I was so going to run with Daniel's idea.
Oh,
I think pumpkins are more like early American horror.
Yeah, probably.
And I don't think they're indigenous to being grown in France during this period.
I don't know if pumpkins grow in Europe or not, so
I'm not a horticultural expert. But,
Mika would be the closest person to answer that question.
yeah.
Yeah, we don't have that, or didn't have that until you took over.
Took over?
We never took over to her.
Yeah, we do everything you want. No, we do everything you have there. It's so terrible.
That's because Halloween is awesome.
Hey, that's the sincerest form of flattery. All right. So you can grab whatever costly item you would like. The sword you grabbed has not been sharpened in a while. In fact, it's so dull that you're not sure if it's really ever been used. It's more of just an elegant piece. But it appears to be weighted nice and would be a fine fighting instrument if it came to that. You'll notice there's about 7 or 8 mercenary-looking figures stationed around one of these carts. And the doors to the parlor will be closed. And you'll see a strange crate being carried out to this cart, which inside this crate is Alicia's body. So they're doing what they can to hide the fact that, to try to make this as insuspicious as possible. But the rioting mob is almost salivating as they see another vehicle being prepared. So you have the bed sheets, which that's one option. We'll keep it in the think tank.
I'm gonna ask them to bring around. So I'm assuming that the stables are on the premises.
Yes.
So I'm gonna ask them to bring me the finest horse that they have to spare.
You want the finest horse?
That they have to spare. I mean, obviously they're not going to bring me the Lord's horse, but the finest one they have to spare.
Yeah, you'd be able to go to the stable and find a horse. They don't have any war horses by any means, but they have a couple, horses that have been trained for riding who are of good breed.
Okay.
So
there's only one exit to this place?
Yeah, there's one major gate and road that a cart could likely get through. With that being said,
But it sounds like the Baron doesn't give a shit about his peasants, and I don't like them anymore anyway.
Well, everything the peasant did, the Baron did was to protect the people, because he did hire these extra guards and stuff, but he definitely spent more money on protecting his own than
and he's gonna leave town. So,
but by no means did he, use them as fodder.
Okay, so I'm gonna go to Emmeline, like with another idea.
Oh.
I'm gonna say, I have an idea.
Oh. Yes.
Okay, so
you hear the pain in her voice.
So there's a wall or whatever around the place. We could probably sneak out as I sneak in sometimes, and dress in clothing. Not us because we are ladies, but one of the men as the Baron himself, and then go near the edge of town and then spread a rumor through the town the Baron is escaping, and the crowd will chase this fake Baron, and then we can get to it.
And tell me, child, who will be the Baron in this case?
I'm thinking your friend.
Who would that be?
Your friend.
Arnold.
Oh!
Arnold.
Shh! Not so loud. Well,
That's why I said your friend. I'm discreet.
well, Sarah, why don't you go to Mr. Chevalier and tell him about your idea, and don't forget to mention that he is to run from the crowd.
Based on previous interactions, I feel like that may be gentler coming from you.
Do anything.
I don't want to take away your credit for your idea, so please, and I'll look around very busily.
Okay, so at that, given permission to go speak with him, I will, before I leave, I'll say, also, he said that I could have a pistol. Do you think you could get that for me? Thank you. Good night. And I turn and walk towards.
I heard something different.
So I go to Arno. Mr. Arno?
Yes, child.
I have a plan.
Okay.
So who do the townsfolk hate the most?
It would probably be a tie between Emmeline and the Baron.
Oh,
Right, the Baron.
oh my God.
So if the Baron were seen escaping, do you think that they would chase him?
It stands to reason, yes.
Aha! I have a plan. Let us say that somebody bold and strong and powerful dresses as the Baron and then places himself near the edge of town. Then the townsfolk see this brave, strong, courageous man, and they chase him away. That will give us time to escape.
You know, that's actually not that bad of a plan. Provided
Are you crazy, man?
it's not that bad of a plan. As long as the person playing the Baron does not get caught.
Well, that is why they should be the strongest and most brave of all of us. I think that would be you.
Of course you do. So I kind of look at everybody else real quick.
I'll look away.
Years.
I mean, metagaming, that is the best plan I heard.
Yeah.
But the other two plans that have happened during this affair have included ghosts and tiny forests.
Yes.
Yeah, tiny forests.
Tiny
exactly.
forest. Yeah.
The tiny forest could have worked.
So I say, okay, well, I how about this? There are two ways we can possibly do this. The other thing is, despite the anger of the people, no one likes to disrespect the dead. Yes?
That's true.
No, but when the cart goes out, they're gonna mob it thinking it's full of stuff, and then when they find her body in it, they'll probably tear it apart.
And well, I
then it's
am
gonna
not
be hard
so
to-
tear it apart. I am not so sure.
It's gonna be a little bit hard to put her back together after that.
I don't know that the people would. And they have all lost people too. Where I'm going with this is deception and deceit so far have not gotten anyone anywhere. Perhaps if we just flat wrote out there and told them that we are sorry for all of their loss. However, we are going to take this recently deceased woman and take her to the church where which is proper in the eyes of God. And if they choose to tempt the wrath of God, then so be it. And you may find that their anger may be sated somewhat.
You are very wise. And I have these, and I show the sheets. Pretend to be ghosts and scare them if need be.
Are you going to go out and explain that to the people?
Well, what I figured what would probably happen is I would ride out on the horse and tell everyone what's going on and tell them that they, should they attempt to interfere with the putting of this person to rest in their proper place, they would face my wrath and followed very quickly by God's wrath afterwards.
You would hear a couple of the people who have lost their own say, "Why is it that my child doesn't get to go to the church?" There are a few dozen others that died, and so
I would have thought they would have taken them to the to the church or whatever.
Well, yeah, but they want this
really
special. Well, rioting angry peasants. I think that they're interested in why does Elise get special treatment in death when she receives special treatment in life.
She's a princess. You guys are lousy peasants. Why do you think?
Of course, I wouldn't quite put it that way, but I say, well, we can do that, or I can dress up like the Baron and ride off on the horse.
I think the problem you would run into with the honesty is the fact that others have lost their children too, and they don't like special treatment appearing in their eyes.
I don't think
socialistic peasants. Oh my!
I don't think there is a flawless option. I think it's which is the least flawed option.
Oh yeah, we're at the point that whatever you want to do, it's gonna have to work one way or the other. So I'm just revealing the pros and cons of each plan.
Yeah.
Now it's hard for me to come up with a con to the ghost plan. I'll be honest. In the chat, I typed my flaw for the tiny forest plan.
Yes. Yeah.
Whatever y'all want to do, like I'm all for moving narrative.
If we had something that was just as scary as a pumpkin, like
we can fight the Earl King back, and that would scare the hell out of him, and then he leave.
I don't think we want to do that.
The only thing is, if you're going to really need her body to, or some type of casket to be taken to the church.
Well, the church was just an excuse to get out of there. I didn't know if we were actually going to take it.
And then we just ride out of town, right?
Yeah. But I mean, I'm willing.
If you want to go ahead and take her body to the church, that could work, because now having an empty parlor might be a little bit difficult to explain. So, what this could look like, and excuse me for stepping in and like metagaming this, is you, under the cover of the real funeral that's early, you kind of go out the back way out of the city. And so while empty casket's being taken to the church, you can go the other way and get out of the city.
But you just have to get past the crowds. So
yeah, but I feel like between the skill and just beautiful etiquette of this party, and throughout the milestones that I need to hit in the next 20 minutes, that it's completely possible to have whatever plan work out.
Well, I do have the I do have the bonus of being an expert equestrian. So if I take off on a horse, I should be rather freaking hard.
Yeah, dressed as the Baron. Yeah,
to catch.
Yep. Oh yeah, definitely. And none of these people have horses.
Right.
But it's already getting a little bit later, and you know that in the next couple days you'll need to get through the forest.
Yeah.
So I'm going to need to call for a final decision on the plan.
So I'm up for doing the Baron thing if you guys think that's
then
the
once the crowd chases you and clears the gate, then we can ride out the gate with the cart with the body and the chest full of money, right?
Yeah. I mean, you guys just give me the basic idea of where you're going, because I've got expert equestrian plus I've got tracking, so I'll
we'll
be
tell
able
you
to
where
find
we're
you.
headed. Right.
Yeah, and you would go through the forest. And so, yeah, I think expert equestrian, I wouldn't make you roll. And the way chases work, they deal a lot with move speed. But the move speed of a horse is going to be a whole lot more than a riot.
Yeah.
And so
the rolling would be like at a +3 according to this.
Yeah, so. And so I'm not going to make you roll for it. The one thing, the Baron does not have a beard.
Oh.
Well, that's easy enough because, hold on, French coats back then had a thing where you could actually roll them up and button them up all the way up to your nose practically.
Damn!
You can wear a scarf anyway.
Well, I was saying the coats are already designed that way.
To hide the beard?
Yeah, it would hide the beard. Like if anybody's ever seen, for example, not to quote it, make it easier, if anybody's ever seen the movie Brotherhood of the Wolf, they wore those coats and they always had, you almost looked like a ninja when you had it buttoned all the way up. It was kind of crazy looking. But it was a type of French coat for the time period.
Yeah, just for the heck of this, I won't make you roll disguise because you'll be far enough away that you know, if you are borrowing the Baron's clothes and even his horse or one of his horses, you'll have enough distance from the people. So I don't think any dice rolling's at play.
Yeah.
Rumor spreads that enough people kind of leave to check it out that you're able to get the cart. And as you begin to move into the forest, you'll realize that since the Earl King is kind of departed, animals still haven't really returned, but the forest no longer has the sickly appearance it did previously when you were arriving. And so you'll be able to meet up later that day, making pretty good time. But one thing you'll realize throughout the hours of travel is what the Baron was mentioning about the girl rapidly taking on the appearance of death. It's getting even worse than what you would believe. And there is a Constitution type check, right? Or is there not?
Is it con?
There is a Constitution.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I need all of you to roll Constitution.
Boy, she seems sneaky.
I passed it.
Damn it, I rolled the wrong die again.
Yeah, I made it.
All right.
That should be good too. I'm just going to check against my afflictions.
Yeah, if you make it, you're not going to be totally sickened, but this horrible smell of decay and death is gut-wrenching. If you failed, it's going to basically take you to the point of just vomiting and nausea, having to stay so close. Not only that, but you'll realize in the air kind of following you are a couple carrion birds, vulture-like birds, who are following
Are you
the
sure
smell of death.
As Bella throws up to the side of the road. Are you sure she's alive?
The monkey is also throwing up.
Yeah, I think the Baron is mistaken. I think she's turning into some sort of strange undead thing.
Well, as long as she's not moving right now, we should continue.
Well, isn't that the point? He wants her to move again.
Yeah, speechless.
Yeah, you're gonna move through the night, and finally, when you stop and camp, at this point, the body's smelling, so bad that even some of the plants and trees are wilting and
upwind and furthest away.
yeah. But even though the woods have been pretty quiet, you begin to hear a little bit of ruffling and even some howling, because since these areas have been so void of animals, especially hunting animals like wolves, have not been able to eat, but this smell of death has got them interested. And you're realizing that this smell has now put a bullseye on your camp.
I think Bo should fight off the predator.
So when I hear the wolf, I say, "Where's my pistol?"
Now, this is a good question. Would Sarah be armed at all?
I would
I don't have any
probably
weapons now.
be willing to give her a small dagger of mine. Yes, that was my plan, but I'm not giving her a pistol.
Yeah, I don't have any weapons.
So I would have handed it to her by now. Actually, when we got together, because you had asked for the pistol. But when you ask where's my pistol, I'm gonna just pull my coat aside and I'm gonna say it is right here, and I'm gonna put my coat back over again.
Okay.
And guards are one lucky thing about being with so many mercenaries. You guys are kind of the emissaries in the fact that you don't have to watch camp, so guards are spread out. But would any of you do anything to help prevent this attack? I mean, prevent a attack from possibly happening.
So there's a fire, right?
There is a fire.
So I would probably grab a piece of wood or maybe take one and see if I can light the end of it, and just kind of walk out to the edge and just kind of wave it around a little bit and see if I can frighten them off.
Yeah. You can definitely tell that fire is very successful at them, and so you can hear them kind of back off when fire happens. However, these things are so compulsed to hunger. You alone waving fire doesn't seem to. It appears to just be delaying the inevitable.
All right, so Sarah is going to grab fire as well.
All right.
Yeah, with her, yeah.
How many are there?
Her clumsy self. She's gonna stand right next to Arno. She's not gonna get by herself, but she will also get a stick, and she'll have it.
It's definitely a pack.
Okay.
They could be werewolves. Do you have silver bullets?
Bella's gonna sell those good luck charms that didn't work to the soldiers because they're obviously nervous.
Oh, by the way, I'm hated by animals. I don't know if that
I am loved by animals.
applies here.
Let's jump into a quick combat. There are pick a number between 7 and 16.
Oh.
8.
All right. There are 8 wolves.
Oh,
Jeez. Low to the low.
However, you 4 bow and like 7 other soldiers. And these guys are gonna be better at wolves, killing wolves, but let's do the fun combat. Call high or low, Morgan.
Hi.
All right, wolves will go first. So you're gonna see some wolves break through the other side of the forest, making a dead rush toward the cart. What is Emmeline doing at this point?
yeah, that's a good question. How far away are they?
Not far away anymore.
Can you sleep them?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well.
Well, as you're preparing to do this,
Uh-oh.
one of them is going to be able to jump into your tent or your area. I don't know how you travel. And it's going to be growling at you.
I growl back.
All right, you will get bitten for 2 damage.
Oh, shit.
Roll a strength save.
Oh, man. No.
All right,
You get
and it will pull you to the ground.
Oh, boy.
Just remember that everybody has +1 on all their stuff if they're near me, as long as their proficiency is 12 or less.
Yeah.
All right.
Doesn't help.
Wolves are approaching other soldiers and approaching the cart itself with the created body, but I will let you guys go now.
I faint.
So,
Awesome. That still is relevant. Oh, but that ability works even when I'm fainting.
Well, the body's crated up, so unless they have pry bars, the wolves have to break through the wood before they get to our body, right?
These are wolves carrying crowbars.
Oh yeah.
They've reached the cart, but yeah,
right.
They haven't began the carpentry work yet.
Well, the first thing I want to do is pull my pistol and take a shot at the one that's got Emmeline to the ground.
You would like to shoot one that's right next to Emmeline?
Sure.
All right.
Well, I have as well, not only hated by animals, but unlucky at love, so that applies well here.
There you go.
No, officer, I was shooting the wolf.
I am totally gonna hero this. So, how does this work? Dexterity check?
Yeah, ranged attacks are.
It says aiming is dexterity.
Drawing and readying a weapon is technically an act normally, but a dexterity check would be fine. And you said you roll under.
Okay.
There.
Well, luckily, my dexterity is high, so fairly high. I got a 13 out of 15.
These things have no armor class, so that's going to be a hit.
Yes.
If you want to roll hits,
I don't know what the damage is for a pistol.
Yeah, just roll a d6.
Oh, d6. Okay. I got a 4.
All right. You'll definitely hit it and hear a yelp. You are still in the maw of this thing, Emmeline, but you can tell that it's hurt and its bite has kind of not as tight on you anymore.
it doesn't let go. Oh, little shit. Well, that's a problem now, I guess.
I mean,
How do I get out of there?
Do you have a little dagger?
No.
Oh,
Although, I have
only-
a dagger ring, like one of those really small ones, you know, where you can open a letter with. Can I, like, push it into the wolf's eye?
oh, that sounds too cool not to let you do. Roll dexterity.
So you see her like going a little bit crazy. You see the craziness in her eye, and then she raises her hand, and you see that dagger, that little blade, shimmering on her finger, and then she accidentally probably stabs herself with it because I rolled a 20.
Actually, hold on. I'm going to use Grace of Heaven, and you can re-roll it.
Ooh.
Can you use that while you're fainted?
Yep.
All right.
Can always use the Grace of Heaven even when fainted.
What am I rolling?
Under your dex, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I made it.
All right. Yeah. Roll. Do a d4.
Oh, that's generous.
Well, you did hit it
Yeah.
in the eye.
Yeah, that's true. Well, the goal is anyway just to make him stop.
Yeah.
Oh, and shit. 1.
All right. This wolf's gonna release its grasp, and the rest of you are now gonna see a half-blind wolf running in terror away from Emmeline.
With his tail between his hind legs.
All right, Bella.
You are
Bella-
a witch.
Yeah, Bella. Did you want to do anything?
Yeah, if there's a wolf nearby, I will make sure my monkey is behind me or on my shoulders, and I'm gonna use my brass knuckles and punch a wolf twice.
I was
Nice.
really hoping you were going to say you were going to sick the monkey on the wolf because that would
No,
be badass.
I actually hit with one and missed with the other, and I did 5 points.
All right. Yeah, that's gonna be a good hit. This thing's still gonna be squared off against you, but you can tell it's backing up and bleeding. Now the guards with you have either killed or scared off 3 additional wolves. So this wolf that you just attacked, Bella, is going to try to attack you. That's going to be a hit. You're going to only take 1 damage, though. You try to, yeah,
Does that
basically
include
when you
armor?
would put the, what?
Does that include my 1 armor?
Armor gives you a boost to AC, right?
Oh, okay. It's not stoppage.
I'll
Okay.
get the dishes done first.
Yeah, so you're going to take 1 damage. Basically, that missed punch you had, the wolf's just going to be able to barely catch your wrist. Now, another wolf's going to come at you, Arnold. It has fire, so it's going to be a disadvantage. But I roll a whole lot better than the rest of you.
Okay.
You will also take 1 damage as basically you turn to shoot the pistol, and there's going to be a wolf at your back. I need to roll a strength.
I need to roll a strength.
Yep.
Okay. I got an 8 out of a 15.
All right. Yeah. It's going to try to pull you down, but you're going to be able to throw it off.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool. You lose initiative when you get brought down. And it's supposed to be dex in that strength, but I'll let you make either. But as you throw this off, you see a wolf that's approaching the fainted Shara. And it's going to grab Shara by like the scruff of her
Drag her away.
clothes and begin trying to drag her into the forest.
Nice.
I'm a bad like presenter for this game. You don't have the heart to like have a rabid animal attack a 12-year-old girl. But
That's okay.
yeah. So back to y'all's turn.
Okay.
Bella, you have a pretty hurt wolf in your face. Emmeline, you're recovering. And Arnold, you have a wolf on you and a wolf tracking the girl away. Sarah, are you still fainted?
Yeah, she's
I'm
out.
fainted for 4 rounds. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so
Yeah.
your head's just gonna hit in the ground as you're being tugged away. Bella, why don't we let you go first?
Okay, I'll see if I can knock out this guy.
Yeah.
2 misses, I think. Yeah.
Move.
2 misses.
All right.
Swish.
Emmeline,
So now I
your
would
protege
cast.
is being carried away, but go ahead.
Yeah, we'll take care of that now. So let's cast now mass sleep on those little shitbags. And I would try to get the one who's dragging Sarah away first. Just in case if he has too many hit dice.
Yep. How many hit die do you have?
Tell
you.
5 each.
All right, you'd be able. These things have 2 hit die, so you'd be able to knock out the one on. Well, basically the one on each one of your allies, if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
All right.
Sounds
So
good.
these 3, all of a sudden, Sarah, you have a big furry teddy bear just laying on top of you. Arnold, the wolf that jumped on your back after you threw it off you, is now kind of lying lifeless in the ground. And Bella, for some reason, the one on you is now just lying in the ground also.
After I missed, like, swish. Oh, what
Yep.
a powerful blow.
Arnold, the one you threw off is lifeless. The one that was dragging Sarah is collapsed on top of her.
Okay, so there are no wolves that are still standing, correct?
There's one.
There's a couple wolves that are being fought by a few of the mercenaries.
I thought there was one in front of you, but
Well, that one got put to sleep.
Okay.
I thought there were 2 on Arnaud. I thought one on his back and
Yeah,
one.
one is in front, I thought. But
Oh, yeah, there might be one in your front, too.
okay, well, then I'm just going to. All right, so if the one dragging Sarah is no longer dragging Sarah, then I'm going to go ahead and pull that sword and just take a swipe at the one that's left.
All right.
So this was melee, so it would be strength, correct?
Hand to hand can be strength or dex.
Well, it's the
Well,
same
strength if the weapon is blunt, and this sword you're swinging is actually pretty blunt.
Okay. We'll have to fix that as soon as we can. That's cool. My strength and dexterity are both the same, so I got a 13 out of 15 again.
All right, yeah, you're gonna be able to, especially with the fire bonus, bring it across the back with a crack, doing more bludgeoning damage than poking damage, and this wolf's gonna limp away from you. The rest of the guards are gonna be able to finish the rest, and in the aftermath, you're going to see that one of the guards did go down to battle the wolf. He was just overwhelmed by 2 of them, and one caught him in the neck and took him out. And a couple other guards have just scratches and wounds. Sarah, you're going to wake up and probably see someone dragging a wolf off of you. These wolves that are asleep are going to probably be killed.
Yeah, I was going to do it if
So,
mercenaries.
so Sarah, you'll wake up just in time to have this wolf pulled off you and then stabbed a couple feet away.
I might faint again.
All right.
So, actually, if I had a moment, I would try to stop them from stabbing the wolf.
It's not going to work.
But okay.
Yeah.
Because I fainted again.
Yep.
So the wolf gets stabbed. I go down again.
So I'll pick her up and carry her
this time just for one
away
round.
from all that.
Yeah.
I'll carry Sarah over away from all that layer near the cart or whatever.
Sticky cart, nice. Okay, so yeah, I'm only down for one round, so I wake up pretty quickly. That was just like a quick loss of balance.
Nice. I'm gonna try to wrap up this session and set us up for the next one. So you're gonna sleep that night. Guards are gonna keep watch, but the fire and other things gonna keep them away. When you wake up, this noxious smell has kind of climaxed, so it's gonna be as bad as it could be. If the body is checked, you're gonna see that it already has, rigor mortis, and it's looking definitely like a corpse one day later. And whoever took the body is just gonna be shaken, knowing that her soul is trapped in this seemingly corpse. Mercenaries are going to be interested in the charms that you were offering them last night.
Yeah.
So one of them is going to come up to you and say, "That looks a lot like a charm my friend had."
Oh, well, they make many of these. It must have been like the one that your friend had.
And a couple mercenaries are going to surround you. Says, "Come to remember it, I believe there was a bounty out for a gypsy. A bounty that might pay better than what the Baron's paying us."
Oh, what's he paying you?
Bella, would you be aware of a bounty that might be out for a particular
Probably,
gypsy?
there's probably a bounty out, but but us gypsies all look alike. You take me in, they say it's the wrong gypsy, and then what you do? You waste your time, huh?
And he will say, "Well, we're a little bit too far in the forest to be carrying a dead gypsy around."
That's right.
And I agree. We are also too far in the forest for me to try and worry about spending time burying 3 mercenaries.
Yeah. And Bo is going to very quickly jump in and remind everyone that they're on this mission. Once they're complete, they can worry about other jobs, which is not quite the satisfaction that you wish. The good news is today is the burial day or the funeral day for Elise. However, they made the mistake of not sending a fake Baron out on horseback. And even though the streets are heavily guarded, a couple of people are going to make their way into this elegant cart covered with roses and begin breaking it and pulling out a rather fine coffin. And it's just going to hit the street and break. But much to the surprise of everybody, nothing falls out. And not only are people interested in the emptiness of this casket, but the seemingly omniscient Earl King is also going to be interested in why this casket is empty. Luckily, y'all are deep in the forest and have no clue about this happening. Yeah, later that night, a band of mercenaries under the cover of night are going to go to accost our gypsy friend. However, before they can make it, a frightening presence appears. A white spirit with antlers of like a buck is going to scare the majority of them away. And all of you are going to be awakened by screams and cries. And as you make your way through, you'll see that all of the mercenaries, besides Bo, were scared away by some presence and running away through the forest. They all ran through some snares and other traps that the forest itself seemed to create. Some of these traps are people who appear to just run straight into nooses, which lifted them in the air. Other things are simple hunting snares, and the large cracking noise you hear, you don't know are the big timbers breaking, or the sounds of necks being broken, or decapitations. Others people ran into deep thorns, which eventually caused them to bleed out, or just kind of got compressed by vines. But within a couple 100 feet of you in every direction, you'll quickly realize that the forest once again has been turned against you. And while the Earl King is far away and has exhausted his magical presence in order to loosen the defense by taking out your allies, he is alive, and he knows that something is up with her not being in the coffin, and can probably track down where she is. This picturesque forest is no longer a relief, or it's not even neutral, but it's slowly beginning to curve back to the Earl King's command. And the Earl King, wherever he is riding his mount towards his quarry. You're not going to be able to outrun him. You're not going to be able to hide. But you might be able to reach the witch before he reaches you. And that's where we'll close out this session.
Damn it.